Welcome, everybody, to the Books of Sorrow and the Shadow of Death. I am the author, Dustin, and this story follows young Josh and young Bella as they journey through the destroyed world after the rapture happened. God needed them to do his plan, and they don't know what that is, and they don't understand God that well, and they have to learn about God and who he is throughout this journey. But the evil Antichrist won't allow that to happen very easily, and they go through a lot of pain and a lot of struggles doing this. I hope you guys enjoy it as much as I did writing it. Before we get into the story, I just wanted to brief you on why I wrote this book. I was going through an extremely hard time in my life. I was mentally not with it and crying myself to sleep almost every night. And I cried out to God one night and said, God, if this is all you have for me, I don't want to be a part of this. Please just take me away. I was at work driving, and this book just kept being in my head. This story, this idea was in my head for like 3 days. And I was like, finally, like, okay, God, I'll write this book. And I did it. I have no author experience. I'm not a writer. This by any means is not perfect. I have tense errors. I wrote this pre-pandemic, like a few years ago, and I finished the book, but I didn't get it published. I gave up in that. I don't know why. I just gave up, and finally I'm getting back to it. Maybe this will ignite that fire back in my heart like it was once before. But it's a very good story. Hopefully it touches you in a way like it's supposed to. If you are struggling with life, hopefully this helps you in some way. Chapter 1. God pours the first cup onto the earth. Disease and famine strike the earth like a hammer. The people of the world are so caught up in their own lives that they fail to notice the warnings God put in place for them. People were dying everywhere. So much pain, so much sorrow, so much death. I wake up with tremendous fear. The bed was soaked because I was sweating so badly. Buzz, 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 buzz. I reach over and slap my alarm. I look at my alarm. It says 7 a.m. I lie back down in bed, pondering the weird dream I just had. I awake to my mom yelling from the bathroom. Josh, it's 7:30. You need to get out of bed and get ready for church. Now you don't even have time for a shower. Oh man, why do I have to get up at 7 in the morning on a Sunday to go to church? This is stupid. I have better things to do, like play with my friends, video games, or absolutely nothing at all. Anything is better than church. What is the point, really? We go there and sing songs together, and they listen to the pastor talk. I do this thing where I pretend to pray the whole time, but I'm actually sleeping or playing games on my phone. But everyone thought I was spiritual until my mom caught me because I forgot to mute my volume. My annoying 8-year-old little sister Katie runs into my room and jumps right into the middle of my chest and says with a smile, Josh, it's time to wake up. Mommy said so. She had straight blonde hair and she was missing her 2 front teeth, so she was a complete nerd. I'm coming. Just get off of me so I can get up, you little turd. I'm not very nice in the morning, especially when I just got the wind knocked out of me. I roll out of bed, put on a button-up shirt and some nice slacks with a belt. Tuck my shirt in, then go to the bathroom, brush my teeth, and comb my hair. Check myself out in the mirror. All I see is nerd. I never have liked dressing nicely. It's just not me. We all squeeze into our 2006 silver Honda Civic and make our way to church. We arrive at church, and it's a madhouse. People are everywhere. Everyone is so friendly. What are they so happy about? It's early in the morning. We go to worship. I'm not a fan of the songs much either. If we were singing country music like Jason Aldean or Garth Brooks, I could maybe get into singing. My mom notices that I'm not singing. She slaps me on my hand and gives me the pointer finger. Felt like it was going to beam a hole in my head, so I start mouthing the words to make her happy. The preacher man stands up on the stage and starts to give his sermon. I hear, blah, 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 blah. Praise the Lord, blah, 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 blah. Amen. I assume the position and bow my head and fold my hands. And the next but most important step, I close my eyes. I doze off, but the nightmare comes back to me, and it's replaying over again. There are millions of people sick. They are screaming. They are in so much pain. No one can be safe from the sickness, except for the people with the mark on their foreheads. I understood these people were the people of Jesus Christ. I wake up to my mom shaking me frantically. Josh, you're scaring me. I look into my mom's eyes. I could feel the fear she had. I feel the tension in the room is thick, and I notice it is completely silent. I stand to my feet and look around and notice everyone is staring at me like I'm a monster. I feel like a freak at the circus. I run out of there as fast as I can, trying to hold the tears back. My parents follow me. I run out of the door and sit down against the wall, burying my face into my hands, crying. My dad was the first one to speak. What's the matter with you, Josh? He says sternly, not in a comforting way. You can't be saying things like that. I pull my hands off my face and yell. Like, what did I do? He notices how hurt I really am, and what he said was hurtful to me. He sits down beside me and he puts his arm around me and says, Josh, we don't know what happened in there with you, but it scared us. It scared everyone. Whatever it is, we'll get through this together. Then my mom sits down beside me and holds my hand. We love you, Josh. Don't you ever forget that. The sun comes out and warms my heart, drying up all the tears. Then the door comes open and the kids from my school and their parents come out, and I immediately become embarrassed that my parents are showing me love, that I rush to my feet as fast as I can. Let's go get Katie and get out of here, I say to my parents. They both agree, and we head back inside the prison to search for Katie. Someone grabs my arm. I immediately stop and turn around to see who would be grabbing me. Not to my surprise, it was Pastor Johnson. He has a worried look in his eyes. Josh, I want to schedule a meeting with you tomorrow to talk about what happened today. You said some things that frightened me. I immediately look at my parents. I give them the look of no way I'm going to that. My mom turns to the pastor and says, Yes, I think that would be a great idea, and I want to be there too. Very good, says Johnson. I'll see you tomorrow in my office at 6 p.m. I'm not looking forward to going to this, but maybe I should because the dream I had felt way too real. So real that I'm not sure if I will ever try to go to sleep tonight. We make our way to Katie's classroom, and she has a couple of pictures that she colored. On the ride home, we don't talk about what happened to me. We just listen to Katie talk about how much fun she had. I remember when church was all about having fun. Then when you grow up, it gets extremely dull. We arrive home, and I change into my comfortable clothes, red basketball shorts and a t-shirt and shoes. Mom, I'm going over to Cody's house. Is that all right? I got to get out of this house. That's fine. I think you need it. Have fun, honey. But you need to be back by 5 for dinner. Okay, I will, I say as I'm closing the door. I hop on my Huffy and head down the road. Freedom at last, wind in my hair, open road at my disposal. No more nightmares, no more church, no more people staring at me. Cody's house is a lot of fun because his parents are a lot more lax than mine, so we can usually do whatever we want. I arrive at Cody's house. Knock, knock. I thump on the door. It's quickly opened by Mrs. Pearson. Hi, Mrs. Pearson. Is Cody home? Yes, he's in his room. Head on up. I head on up to Cody's room. His room is fairly clean today. I can see part of his floor sticking out, gasping for air. Hey, man, what's going on? Not much, man. I've just been working on Rachel. I can't tell you if she's into me or not. I bet she is. She's just messing with your head, trying to make you sweat a little bit. Cody's always got the girl. He never had to really work for it. He would pretend like it was tough for him just to make me not feel bad. We're going to be freshmen this year, and he's been having sex already, and I haven't even hit a single yet. Part of me doesn't feel ready for it, but everyone is doing it and talking about it, and I'm not real sure what to think. Her Facebook says she's headed to Crazy Town. You want to go check it out? Yeah, man, sounds good to me. We head downstairs and hop on our bikes and head to Crazy Town. The ride was only about 30 minutes from our houses by bike, so it wasn't a bad ride at all. We walk through the door, and people are playing games and having fun with their families on this fine Sunday. Let's race go-karts, I say. Yeah, we head over to go-karts, but he doesn't care if we race or not. We are scouting for babes, and he's scouting for one in particular. We race, and it was fun. I won, of course. I'm a natural at driving, and I haven't taken driver's ed yet. We head back to the arcade room, and then I spot her. She's gorgeous. I've always had a crush on her ever since elementary, but I never had the guts to ask her out. Hey, there she is. I point over at the dance machine, and she's shaking her body, having a good time. We walk over there and watch her dance. She's a flawless angel. She gets done dancing and walks up to us and her friends. She makes eye contact with me and gives me a smile. This gives me butterflies. One of the hottest girls in my class just smiled at me. She points at me and says, "Aren't you that kid that just freaked out in church?" She pulls up her phone, and I see I'm on a video freaking out. And I notice how many views there is. It's been 3 hours since church, and it's already hit 50K views. My stomach drops, and I want to puke. "Can I get a selfie?" she asks. I immediately get angry. "No, you can't have a selfie," I say as I slap her phone out of her hand, breaking the screen. What'd you do that for, you freak?" she yells back, running for her precious phone. I notice Cody uses this as an opportunity to get her, so he immediately moves in to comfort her and to shun me out with the rest of them. I storm out of there. I grab my bike and hit the road, tears streaming down my face. What is wrong with me? Is there something actually wrong with me? Because I don't feel well. I'm a few blocks away from my house, and I'm going to buy a rundown house with no grass in the lawn and plenty of beer cans as decorations. There's a little blonde-haired girl sitting on the sidewalk. She looks to be about my sister's age. She doesn't look like she has showered in a while. Her clothes are filthy. She's playing with rocks or something, but she looks up as I ride by. I figured she would look sad, but she wasn't. She was happy. I think to myself, how can someone playing with rocks find happiness? But I can't. My phone starts going off in my pocket. I pull it out and I see I have a message from Cody. I open it up and it reads, "What is going on with you, bro?" Just then, I hit something solid and flipped over my handlebars and skid on the ground. This has been a hell of a day for me. The girl comes running up to me as I moan in pain. "Hey, are you okay?" she asks. "Does it look like I'm okay?" I yell at her. I didn't mean to, but I didn't think the day could get worse, but it did. "I'm sorry," she said softly and reaches her hand down to me. I grab a hold of it and something happened. Something strange, like I got jolted with electricity. It was shocking to me, but it made me feel connected with her. I noticed by her reaction she felt the same thing. It felt like this moment that was happening right now was supposed to happen. "Did you feel that?" She finished helping me to my feet. "Yeah, I think so." I just stare at her and she stares at me. And this feeling that in this very moment was supposed to happen. We are meant to find each other at this very moment in time. "Run!" a woman yells from her house. She looks back at her mom. "Quit your playing and get back to work." She looks back at me and says, "Sorry, I have to go." She hangs her head and goes back into the yard and begins picking up beer cans. I head home. I run through the door and ignore my parents and head straight to my room. I lie down on my bed. I pull up my Facebook on my now cracked screen and search for that video. I find it quickly. It's at 70K views now. What I see in the video disturbs me because I don't recollect it. I'm standing on my chair in church shouting and screaming terrifying stuff about death. I'm like a zombie preacher. I scroll down and view the comments, and most of them were laughing at me and calling me a freak. There were very few people that were really worried about me. I got sick of that and went back to my wall, and I see another video. This video was titled, "The Freak Strikes Again," and it was a video of me at the arcade on the security feed. This makes me so mad, I chuck my phone as hard as I can. I miss the wall and make connection with the window, shattering it completely. I hear footsteps pound upstairs and my door swings open. "Josh, are you okay? What happened?" My mom asks worriedly. I look at the window and she looks at the window. I look back at her and I shake my head. She sees on my face that my day has not been going my way, so instead of scolding me, she comes over and sits on my bed beside me. "Josh, dear," she says as she puts her arm around me. We all are going through times in our lives when things become out of our control and we figure out just how small and helpless we are. So turn to God and trust in Him that whatever is happening in your life right now is for a very good reason. This isn't what I want to hear right now. I don't want to hear that I am helpless. I just want comfort. Mom, I don't want to hear about God right now. This all started at church. If anyone is to blame for my bad day, it would be Him. Mom gives me a hug and kisses me on the forehead and says, "Son, I worry about you, but you will be fine. You will look back on this moment and see God's hand all over it. You just can't see it right now." She gets up off my bed and says, "Dinner will be ready shortly." Then she exits my room. I can't help but think of that girl I seen. She had so much joy in her face, but her life looked miserable. I just couldn't figure out how anyone could be happy in a place she was in. I have all my basic wants and needs, and I'm struggling right now. I get up and head into my sister's room to ask if she knows her. I prop open the door and stick my head in. "Hey, Katie." I notice she is playing with her dolls on her floor. "Yeah, Josh? I just ran into a girl about your age, a few blocks up. Blonde hair, dirty clothes. Do you by any chance know her from school?" She looks towards the ceiling thinking hard. "Yeah, I do. She's a weirdo. She doesn't say much, and she just stinks. But she seems nice." "Why is she weird?" "Most kids your age are kind of weird, Katie." "Well, she likes to be by herself, and she's always talking to herself. She wears dirty old clothes. It's just weird." "Well, you should try to be friends with her. I think that would be nice of you." "Okay, Josh, I'll try, but if she's too weird, I'm out." "Okay, deal. Thanks, little sis." I head back to my room. I'm lying there thinking about what tomorrow at school will be like now since I earned the title, The Freak. I drift off into sleep. I wake up to the sound of flapping wings. I open my eyes and I see a black creature flying around in my room. It comes at my face. I take my pillow and drill it as it gets near. I notice it's a crow flying around. I climb out of bed and start trying to shoo it towards the window. It takes some time, but the dumb animal eventually finds the exit. I get ready for school, but I don't want to go. I head downstairs to the smell of bacon and pancakes. Mom is in the kitchen and she hands me a plate and looks me in the eyes and says, "I seen the videos. If I find out who took that video of you in church and posted it for the world to see, I swear it'll be the last video they ever take," she scolds loudly. "Thanks, Mom, but it's too late. The whole town has seen it," I respond. "It's just not right. Brothers and sisters stabbing one another in the back like that. We're all supposed to be one in the body of Christ, not bits and pieces of him scattered around." I eat my breakfast and get ready for the bus. I board the bus, and as I'm walking down the hallway, I look at the other kids and I can see them trying to hold in their laughter as I walk past them. I get to my usual spot and sit down. The bus takes off. As we are driving, the kid behind stands up and starts freaking out and screaming and shouting and talking weird. It scared me and the bus driver half to death because he slammed on the brakes. I run up to him trying to snap him out of it, and he does, but he starts gut rolling. The whole bus erupts in laughter, and the bus driver starts yelling, "You kids, knock it off back there." I feel the tears roll down my cheeks due to anger and embarrassment. I wanted to roll over and die, but I couldn't. I slinked low in my seat, trying to make sure no one could see me cry, because that would make things even worse for me. School wasn't any better. I noticed everyone pointing and laughing as they walk by me like I'm some kind of celebrity freak show. I head to my locker, and the front of it is decorated with words, "Freak," all over it. I see my buddy Cody, and I go up to him. "Hey, Cody." "Hey," he replies. "I can't talk to you anymore. You're going to drag me down, and I can't have that." I'm devastated. What is he talking about? We have been friends ever since I can remember, and he's going to turn his back on me when I need him the most? "What in the hell are you talking about? We are best friends," I holler. "Not anymore, we're not. You're the freak, and I don't need you dragging me down." He turns and walks off. I wanted to punch him in the face as hard as I could. I know that wouldn't help my reputation out at all. I just hold it back and let it fester inside of me throughout the day. Later in the day, I'm walking down the hall. I see the school bully Drake giving the school nerd Randall the usual beatdown torment bullies do. He slammed him against the locker and gave him a giant wedgie to the point that his whitey tighties ripped and he started crying. There was a group of students standing around laughing at this. This was an everyday occurrence, but today it lit my fire because I know now what it feels like to have everyone against you. It is lonely and it really hurts. So I walk up to Drake and put my hand on his shoulder, and he looks at me and I punch him in the face as hard as I can. He hits the floor hard, but I don't end there. I get on top of him and I pound his face. Over and over again, I pound his face, taking out all the pain that I've been holding in and releasing it all in a single moment. With every punch, I felt lighter. I feel a hand on my shoulder and it rips me off of him. I look back and it's the Principal Sanders. He looks at Drake, then he looks back at me and his face pale. He looks terrified. "What have you done?" I look down at Drake and his face is hardly recognizable. I look around and the students circling around us and they look petrified. Everyone I make eye contact with looks away. I felt powerful. Then I snap back into reality. What have I done? Who have I become? That wasn't me in that moment. I'm a nice guy. I've never been in a fight in my life. It didn't feel good. I tried to tell myself, but deep down I know I loved every second of it. "I guess I really am a freak," I shout, and the principal drags me away. He is not happy. I can tell by the grip he has on my arm that maybe he thinks I can take him too. He takes me into the office without saying a word, and he picks up the phone and dials. "This is Principal Sanders of Columbia High School. I have a student in custody that brutally attacked a student, and I need you." He got off by the person on the other line, and his face went white as a ghost, and he dropped the phone and began to sob, his head on the desk. I instantly feel terrified by Principal Sanders' reaction. I have never seen a grown man cry except for my dad on my grandma's funeral. "Sir," I calmly say, trying to not upset him any more than he already is. "Sir," I say again, but a bit louder this time. Sanders slowly raised his head up from his desk. His eyes are bloodshot. He looks me in the eyes and says, "It's here." "What's here?" I asked, confused. "Benzo," he says. But I paused to think. I thought they said that wasn't anything to worry about and everything was under control. I say, panicked, hoping this was just a bad nightmare. "Well, I guess they were wrong, or they lied. Doesn't matter anymore. Go home, Josh, and be with your family. I have to go." Sanders turns to the intercom and puts his hand on the button and begins to speak. "This is Principal Sanders. This will be the last message you will ever hear me speak. I have just been informed that the benzo flu epidemic has made it over to the States and is spreading at an alarming rate. This cannot be stopped or contained. I will call the buses. Students that normally walk may walk home, but the others must wait for the bus. I want you all to know that it has been my honor and my privilege to serve you students. May God have mercy on us all." Then there was a long pause. I'm going to throw out that crap about no religion in school. Should have long ago. I would like to ask all of you that are all willing to say the Lord's Prayer with me. He pauses again and says, "Our Father." Then he lets go of the button and begins to say it to himself and me. I hear lots of noise coming from the hallway. I get up and open the door and look into the hall. It is packed with people, and they all have their heads bowed low, and they are saying the prayer. "Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us of our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen." I did not join in with everyone. I'm not real sure if I believe in God, and if there is a God, he has failed me. I watch as everyone that said the prayer raises their head slowly, and they walk calmly, not saying anything. I don't see the look of fear in their eyes like I would have expected. I don't know if God is real, but I do know that the benzo flu is real, and I must get my sister and get home. The elementary school is right next door to the high school, so I don't have to go far. I go barreling out the doors and into the sunlight. I don't notice anything different from any other day. I don't know what I was expecting to see. Probably the world on fire or something. But no, it was luscious blue skies with a bright glowing sun that made me squint as soon as it hit me. I take off running for Katie's school in a sprint. I go through the doors and I see a bunch of children waiting around with teachers. "Katie!" I yell. "Katie!" I hear her voice and I look over to my right. "Josh, I'm right here!" I run up to her and meet her in my arms. I wrap her up like I haven't seen her in years. I don't ever want to let go of her, but I have to. I set her back down on the ground. "Josh, what's going on?" she asks. I smile with little bits of tears popping out as I look into my sister's innocent eyes. They are letting us out of school early today because today is Family Day. She looks at me confused like she has never heard of Family Day before. What's Family Day? Family Day is a day where the most important thing is to be with your family, so they allow us to take part of the school day off. That was the best lie I could come up with at the time. I didn't want to frighten her. "Oh, wow, that sounds fun," she smiles. I hold my hand out to hers and she grabs a hold and we head out of school and go towards home. We didn't make it a block when Katie says, "You're acting funny." "Why do you say that?" I ask. "You never hold my hand anymore." "I'm making an exception today since it's Family Day and all." I give her a nudge and she giggles. "I love Family Day," she shouts and starts to skip around with glee. How I wish I could be happy as my sister in this moment, but I can't. I can only pretend to be something else, but I will stay strong for her and just enjoy her company while I can. We shortly arrive home. I open the door and I see Dad's arms around my mom as they are sitting in the sofa watching the news. They turn and look at us. Their faces look just like Principal Sanders. "Hi, Mom and Dad," Katie says. "Hi, dear," they reply. "Come on, let's go to your room," I say to Katie. "What's going on?" Katie asks. I think she could feel the tension in the room. "Nothing you need to worry about," Dad says to her, and I grab her and pull her to her room. "Get a couple of dolls out and I'll play with you." "Really?" she asks, amazed. "Yeah, I'll be right back." I head downstairs and hear the TV is doing that annoying warning sound, but this time it is saying, "This is not a test." Benzo flu epidemic that was in Africa has now made it to the United States and other parts throughout the world. Benzo is extremely deadly. You must stay indoors and do not leave your house, whatever you do. It has already killed millions in Africa. The news broadcaster keeps on going. The symptoms go in this order. First, you'll get a slight cough lasting a couple of days. Then your symptoms will decrease. You'll seem to get better. A few days later, the fever will increase and you'll become worse, quickly followed by complete organ shutdown. It is extremely painful. We have not heard if there is a vaccine as of yet. So you have any of these symptoms, call 911, but do not leave your house. There has been known accounts of people just dying without any symptoms as well. Spend these last moments with your loved ones. God have mercy on us all. I stand there in awe with my parents watching the TV. I flash back to the visions as I had earlier today. My worst nightmares was coming to life before my eyes. No way this is real. I am only 15. I haven't even been laid yet. I'm too young to die. I want to live my full life. I want to get married and have children and teach my son how to throw a baseball. My wife can teach our daughter how to play the piano. This isn't real, I yell. No, son, it's very real. I think Jesus is finally coming. We must await this day with joy, for God's plan is good. We must trust Him with all our heart and soul, says my crazy mom. Wait with joy? How can a person find joy in the ending of the world and the miserable death of millions? Now I'm thinking my mom is crazy. I'm terrified out of my wits, and she is trying to be happy about dying. A slow, agonizing death. Dad, what do you think? I ask. I don't know, son. But what your mom is saying makes sense. Our planet has been experiencing a lot of bad weather and earthquakes for the past few years. Famines that have left countries starving, but we eat plentiful here in the U.S. It just may be the end of days. Your sister is in her room playing. Go play. Go spend some good quality time with her. I'm standing there in shock, trying to take it all in. I just don't make sense to me that I have to go through this. It can't be real. Jesus is not coming. This is just some scare that will go away. But I can't hold it in. I bust out crying. I can't breathe. I can't see. I'm gasping to catch my breath. I run up to my mom and dad and give them a hug. There, son. Just trust in the Lord and you'll be fine. You'll go to a better place. I know it's scary right now, but God is good. He loves you. He doesn't want to hurt you. He has a place prepared for you to live in eternal happiness. Try to focus on that. My mom says to calm me down, but I can't feel that she is scared too. She just wants to be brave for me. Try to wipe them tears off your face when you go into see your sister. We don't need her to worry about any of this, my dad said. Okay, Dad, I will. I leave the room and head to my sister's bedroom. I hear her feet stomping away as I get close to the top. She is sitting on her bed with her head down. She looks up as I enter the room. I don't want to die, she cries. You're not going to die, I lie. Yes, huh, she yells back. I heard you talking to Mommy and Daddy. We are going to get sick. I'm tired of lying to my sister. Yes, there is a sickness going around and people are dying all over from it, and it's here now. I just want to spend these last moments here with you, with the sister I love so much. You love me? Of course I do, I reply. Why would you ever think I didn't love you? Because you pick on me sometimes and call me stupid. Well, that's just what brothers and sisters do to each other. I'm sorry for saying those things. I didn't mean any of it. I forgive you, she says and gives me a hug and says, I love you too. I stand up and say, let's play with these dolls. Which one is mine? I reach down and pick up 2 dolls. She stands up and snatches the dolls from my hands, as if I was holding them wrong. This dolly's name is Sheila, and this one's name is Tiffany. I'll be Sheila, and you be Tiffany, okay? I agree. Okay, now what do we do? Oh, we do whatever we want, like go shopping, or we have tea. Sometimes we have slumber parties. Oh, that sounds fun. And I grab Tiffany and I start playing dolls with my sister. It actually is kind of fun playing with her. I really never gave it much of a chance before. We were playing for about 20 minutes. We were having fun, laughing and playing. Tiffany and Sheila sit down for tea when all of a sudden my sister hits the ground. I panic and start shaking her. Katie, wake up, Katie. She isn't breathing. Mom and Dad rush into the room. Oh no, our baby, Mom screams. Dad goes up to Katie and picks her up and holds her in his arms and just stares at her weeping. He wants to talk, but he can't get any words out. He starts touching her face and stroking her hair. Mom, I don't know what happened. We were just playing, and she collapsed, I said frantically. It's not your fault, Josh. She got raptured out. We need to pray. We lock hands, and my dad leads the prayer. Then we all join in. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Dad picks Katie up and lays her on her bed and covers her up, then heads outside and starts digging. I go to my room and bury my head in my pillow and scream at the top of my lungs. I can't believe this is actually happening right now. Did God really just take my sister? Why would God want people in the world to die? I had so many questions, but I didn't know what the answer to any of them were. Maybe I should have paid more attention at church. I just don't understand that God is good, but he is also killing millions of people. I don't get it. Is it because he thinks we are bad? I come out of my room to be with my mom. I hear my mom start to cough, and it stops me in my tracks.